Um, yeah, what's up, guys? How you been?
Let's get some wrestling going again,
Good. Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to talk real quick. Kids wrestling. So we went down Sunday. Rochelle Kids Club put on the what they call it, the hammer duels or something.
I saw
And
the big hammer.
yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, I think I thought I heard that one of the coaches made them all. So each team got one of those big hammers. But I mean, they put on a great event down there. They tried to get 16 teams and a couple backed out. So it ended up as 10 teams, two pools of 5. So you wrestled 4 and you pool, and then you had a crossback bracket. So kids got 5 matches. Teams brought some extra kids. It was all 10 and under, and it was awesome. Awesome. I mean, more
Was
people.
you there?
What's up?
Or how-
Yep. Marty? Let's say, yeah, Hananiga was there. Yeah, Hananiga had a team down there. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it was a good deal.
Well, I'm glad they're keeping you're staying busy with
Yeah,
kids
well,
wrestling.
yeah.
Is he loving it?
Yeah. He got his first win. So, that goes a long way.
That does go a long way.
Yeah. He wasn't having much success with doubles or high crotches. So he just went out for the headlock and threw it.
I saw it on video, right?
Yeah.
I did, yeah.
Yeah. He tried it the next match, and the kid was about 10 pounds bigger than him. It didn't work so well that match. So,
hey Dalton, when are the semis at Dvorak?
I think they're on Saturday morning or Sunday morning. I'm not.
You know what time?
It's either no. I mean, I'm hoping that Jake is able to
Give
tell
us some information.
Yeah, he texts me the information. He texts me some of the information, the schedule, but he sent it in picture form, so I didn't zoom in yet to look at it. So
Has anybody sent you results of anything?
not directly, but I've looked up some results and stuff, but I've been
Where are you finding stuff? I can't find anything for Hananiga.
just go through track.
I've done that. And do what? Go to like duels or?
Yeah, you can you can search the teams and should pull up some.
when you go on track, do you go to OPC? Marty?
Oak Park River Soap Forest? No.
No, it's one of the headings on there. Go there, and then you select high school boys, and you go to IHSA. And
Yeah.
it's just Illinois high school results.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you.
I don't know if Tyler's himself running track, but I know they have results on there. Like this last weekend, they wrestled Sycamore, and that was on there.
Yeah. Who they wrestle at Sycamore?
They wrestled Sycamore, West Chicago, and Plainfield somewhat. Nah, I don't know. I can't remember who the third school was. They did varsity down at Sycamore, JV up at Hananiga.
Okay.
So they got 3 duels in that day.
Cool.
But yeah, I don't remember who the other team was.
Yeah, but this week is Dvorak, and that's gonna be a fun one. I think it's a great mid. I mean, it's still an early season tournament, but it's still kind of middle of the season, I guess. There's only after this, there's not really too much. I guess there's probably two tournaments in December. Yeah. So it's kind of mid-season, but it's going to be a big tournament and a good opportunity for everybody to kind of test themselves. So I'm looking forward to it. You guys looking forward to it? You guys have any? Do you have any matchups in your head who you want to see?
I haven't seen teams that are going to be there.
Right. Either have I.
So I don't. Yeah, I don't. Offhand,
I mean, for us right now.
Yeah, that would be nice. I feel very unprepared tonight.
Sorry, you can.
I'm unprepared every night.
So, let me see. I'll pull this up.
Are there any out-of-state teams coming?
Back in the days when Iowa City West.
We got Arlington Heights, Belleville East, Belvedere North, Bolingbrook, Carroll Stream, St. Rita, Crystal Lake Central, Crystal Lake Prairie Ridge, Dakota, Edwardsville, Elmhurst ICCP, Lincoln Way East, Freeport, Grays Lake Central, Hinsdale, Proviso West, Conant, Huntley, Joliet West, Libertyville, Lockport, Montini, Harlem, Marshfield, Wisconsin, McHenry, Milton, Wisconsin, Moline, New Lenox, Lincoln Way Central, New Lenox, Providence, Niles, Notre Dame, Normal, Palatine Friend, Plainfield North, Plainfield South, Hononegah, Round Lake, Schaumburg, St. Charles East, Vernon Hills, Wakanda, Wheaton North, Loyola, Marion, Yorkville. There it is.
That's a good number of teams. What is that? 30 teams? 32 teams?
43 total.
43.
And they
Probably
still
a lot that don't bring a full lineup. So
yeah,
shooting for 32-man brackets, I'm guessing.
right. Yep.
Yeah, and I don't really know how it looks because some of them, the count says 24, 21. That doesn't make any sense.
For
Individuals.
Yeah, for some teams.
Yeah. Maybe they're letting them bring some extra though.
Yeah, maybe.
A lot of tournaments are doing that now.
It might be an accident too. So.
I saw the what was it? The Donnybrook did that. The two what was it? The Schwab boys ended up in the finals together.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm a big fan of that. I think, there's every year there's always talk about like certification, weight classing, cutting weight and stuff like that. But it's like, why punish one team for having two good 144 pounders or something? It's like, yeah, making one choose to go down. But now you're saying that you're making them cut weight or you're making them go to a weight class that isn't appropriate for them. So, I can't wait for the day that wrestling allows more than just the registered team in a tournament because, I think college would be better. I think college would be infinitely better if two Iowa kids could be in the national finals. I just think that would be like, obviously we want them to wrestle though. But that would be awesome.
I don't know. You notice how our heads are moving?
Yeah. Well, you argue why? Because at the end of the day, they're going to lose programs because of the financial aspect of it.
In any sport, you know what? You got to have
track and field. You can have multiple kids on the same team.
I said any sport.
That's the second oldest sport.
I know. I was a track guy.
Yeah.
But no, you can't do that in wrestling. They can do it all you like right now. Let them bring extra kids all they want. But when it comes to freaking regional time, you got your lineup.
You pick your best kid.
Yep. Wrestle them off.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do is wrestle them off. It's easy.
Yeah. That's the great thing about wrestling because it's clear cut.
It is.
Yeah, but I mean, just what about the kids that, now you force a kid to go to the same school, but it's like, well, if you went to a different school, you get second in the state.
Oh, that's life. You want to go to a really good school that has a great education like Hononegah, or are you going to send them to, I don't know.
Well, I'm just saying,
nobody else.
If that person could get an opportunity, I just think it would be, I think it would avoid a lot of problems. But
but that's life. Everything's a battle.
But I'm saying there's plenty of situations to show that there's other kids on other teams that aren't as good as the two at the, again, Hononegah is a great example. They got a couple kids right now that are backups right now that are really, really good. I watched them wrestle.
Life.
That's how you get a good program.
Yep.
Yeah.
Keep those really, really good ones there.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, definitely college was the transfer portal now. Kids just go wherever they want. So, I
just read an article with Ohio State football program. Their portal this year, or the NIL, was over $20 million. That's just crazy.
What's crazy is that for football, that transfer portal's open now.
I know.
We have kids entering like
Before
the backup for Penn State, that quarterback. I mean, it's crazy. Like they would open it. I mean, I guess second semester will be coming. School's got to make decisions, but you got a team competing for the national title and guys transferring out. It's dumb.
It is. It's terrible. But you know what?
And you get guys who say, I'm not going to play unless I get paid $5 million to play in the bowl game. Even if it's a joke, I mean, that's where it's gotten to in college.
Right.
I
Well,
mean,
if he's that good, he's going to get the $5 million.
Hey, Kirkley, we need you for this match to win the national title. 100,000, maybe I'll lace up the shoes and step out there for you guys.
And they'll pay him.
Like earlier in the year, the quarterback for UNLV, where they were undefeated, and he's like, hey, boom, boom. It's like, that's the problem that's going on. You're letting
that's the free market.
But you see what's going on now, right?
When you went to college, weren't you going to college to get an education?
Yeah, but that education doesn't even pan out. I mean, unless you're getting a certain job, education is actually like a arbitrary concept. So
the college football programs are starting to hire general managers for their football team.
Yeah.
Like what's his name just got hired at North Carolina?
Yeah.
He brought his buddy in as a general manager. I mean, it's just crazy. It's just take care of all the other stuff.
I mean, it is $1 billion industry. You're talking billions. You're not talking thousands.
It is.
That's insane. That needs to trickle out.
What do you mean trickle out?
To other sports.
Well, I don't think it's going to
sharing or something here. I don't know. No.
Well, they do some type of revenue share, but I mean, you're not gonna you're not gonna get them to agree to it. That's why wrestling, I think wrestling is honestly positioned in the best possible position as opposed to all other sports. It has a financial opportunity, so yeah. I mean, I'm not mad about it. I'm super pumped about it. I think, when you think about things like what you said, somebody saying, well, I'm not playing unless I get $5 million. Well, if they get paid, that means that there was $5 million laying around.
Yeah.
So somebody had money. Somebody was getting something out of it. So I just think that, I mean, I'm so pro athlete that I've seen. Yeah, I mean, if you look at basketball and football, you look at these coaches that are getting millions of dollars, and they'll jump ship, and they're only looking at you if you can help them, go up the ladder. I mean,
that's their job.
Yeah. Well, but athletics is the job, right? You go to college, it's a job. You don't get that. You don't get to say I'm going to do whatever I'm going to do.
I mean, there's no academics involved in it anymore.
That's the guy from the 49ers that wouldn't go in the game.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. He just ruined his –
and now his soccer's clear. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
What was that situation?
A linebacker.
He'd been hurt, and then they were decimated during the game of people, but he was cleared to play. And they said, we need to get you in the game. He goes, I'm not going in. And then he put a towel on his head and he walked out left the stadium, went into the locker room.
Yeah.
And that didn't turn out so well.
No.
Why? What happened as a result?
He's been suspended. And I don't know if he cleaned his locker or they cleaned his locker, but he's suspended for the next 3 games. Right? Probably his career's over. At least with the 49ers. I mean,
I don't think anybody will touch it.
Be honest. Someone will pick him up. There's always someone there. Hey, he can help us.
Well, that's actually, I think there's been plenty of examples of this in some of the teams where the player would kind of become a problem just so he could get out of his contract because he had another contract that he could get to. So, I mean, let's get back. Let's talk high school wrestling here, where kids are wrestling because they love the sport. Coaches are doing it because they love it, not because they're getting paid for it. So the Dvorak starts Saturday morning. Is that what we got?
What's that?
Dvorak starts Saturday morning.
Yep.
So I want to say in the past when they ran it Sunday, it limited some teams. They can't wrestle on Sundays.
Who would that be? I don't know, really.
Yeah.
They got the approval from the IHSA to do it.
Right, but I think from out-of-state teams.
Really?
For some reason, I thought like the Iowa teams or something, they couldn't wrestle on Sundays or couldn't compete on Sundays. You would think the private schools, your Catholics and your Lutherans, and they would be against it. I mean, that's their day to go to church, right?
Or wrestle.
I guess wrestling is their church, right?
Yeah, right.
So no Mount Carmel this year there, huh? Or they have not been there?
No Joliet Catholic either.
No Marist.
Yeah, right.
You know, there's another tournament. I forget. Is it the Hinsdale tournament? What is the other tournament?
Oh, that's a big one. That's at
I forget which
East
one
goes
is
to
on.
it.
yeah, the Hinsdale Central.
Yeah.
That's a big tournament too. Is that this weekend as well then?
I'm not exactly sure. I know that Joliet Catholic got out of the Dvorak last minute last year and then jumped into this tournament, the another Chicago tournament. So I think sometimes it's just whether or not they want to travel or, you know, Saturday, Sunday. I'm not really sure, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be still a great tournament.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, I mean, the Saturday, Sunday, I don't know what the motives as far as why I put it there. Do you guys know why?
Why they did that Saturday, Sunday?
Yeah.
I don't know. When we went to it and I was there, it was always like a Friday, Saturday.
Probably was the time of year.
You know what it was?
Christmas break and everything.
No, it was because so many schools had finals on Friday. So you were trying to get those kids to get those finals taken earlier or whatever it is. Because after Friday, they're on Christmas break. So then I think Harlem moved it to Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, it's yeah. It should be all right though.
Yeah, I mean, it's still the Rex Whitlock Invitational is this weekend in Hinsdale.
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday. Who we got there?
But, I mean, I think there's a ton of public schools, which is awesome. I mean, you get, isn't our Marion, or Woodstock Marion, right? Aren't they in it?
Yeah, there's going to be a ton of state
IC,
finals
the
types
team
matches.
I was just telling a buddy of mine, went to high school there. When he was in high school, they didn't have wrestling or anything. It was a very small school. I said, yeah. He goes, yeah, Marty, I know what's going on. He goes, their football team actually plays in the same conference with Loyola. I mean, they're a Catholic school, but very small. But they play Loyola, Mount Carmel, Joliet Catholic, everybody.
Ouch.
Yeah, but he just said they have made themselves a school for sports.
Yeah, they're 2A in wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, there will be some good 3A matchups for sure. So.
Well, there was a kid from IC that wrestled Dan Casillas' son. Dan, assistant coach for me. Mm-hmm. He's not, and his son's at Muhammad Seymour. He's a freshman, and he wrestled him in the finals of a tournament in Chicago and teched him. And he's good. I mean, what?
The kid from IC teched Dan's kid?
Teched him.
Oh, wow.
And he just went to the East tournament and kind of rolled everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did look good. That's for sure. I think we're going to have Chad Wilmarth, coach from Byron, come on first. I think that should be fun. He's going to come on, tell us about what they're doing. All right. Well, everybody, welcome Chad Wilmarth, coach at Byron High School. Chad, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thanks, Dalton. Thanks for asking us to be a part of it. So we're happy to be on here with you guys.
Good deal.
Yeah, thanks. We've struggled a little bit. I'm a little under the weather, but I'm trying to have my Jordan game, and these guys are making fun of me.
I was listening to the golf talk and the Jordan game and all the other stuff going on here. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
we go off sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
no, all good. I think everybody's got the crap. I know that I'm dealing with some stuff too, and it's been running its kind of course through our wrestling room. So we've been battling with that. So I definitely understand how that goes.
Well, maybe take a moment just to, I was curious about this. Like, Chad, are you from Byron originally, or where are you from originally?
Yeah, originally from the Byron area, and then went to Eastern Illinois. At that point, tried to walk on and be part of that wrestling team down there. They dropped that program in 2004 and attempted to reinstate. McCausland was the head coach down there and longtime PE teacher with him and his wife. I did my practicum and my student teaching in Shelbyville, and had the chance to work with Brett Porter down there. He was an All-American at Edinburgh and learned a lot from him as his assistant. And then Brett had a chance to take a new job at Mattoon. He's been the head coach at Mattoon for several years now. And then in 2000, I think it was 11, had the opportunity, when Brett left, I had the opportunity to be the head coach at Shelbyville, and had at that point, I think we had a kid who made the finals. And again, Brett Porter developed a lot of those kids. And so it was kind of nice that he kind of just handed me a nice room that had some kids that got on the podium and qualified for state for the first time in kind of Shelbyville history as far as placing, and then had a chance to come back home to Byron. I was in Byron from 2011 to 2014 and coached with Mike Ellsbury and David Norris. And then how things go, life changes. There was some budget cuts, and I was low man on the totem pole. And so in 2014, I went to Genoa Kingston and was an assistant there for a year, and then head wrestling there for 6 years and head football there for 4 years before making the trip back after everything happened. And in 21, I came back to Byron. So it's a little bit of history, or fast forward history on kind of my background. So
well, that's good. So you're a Byron guy at Byron.
Yep. Yeah. So it was nice to come back home. Like I said, things kind of have a way of changing unexpectedly, but I was able to get around a lot of great people at Genoa Kingston when I went to GK, and learned a lot there from those guys. And same thing at Shelbyville with Brett, and just trying to make those connections and keep those lines of communication open. That's kind of my motto. So yeah, I've been very happy and very fortunate, even though sometimes it's not what you think should happen. It's the best thing for you. And that's what I kind of say has happened. So I've been very fortunate.
That's great. Well, so I know this weekend you guys had a little weather issue that kind of took you guys out of the Riverdale tournament. But how's the start of the season kind of gone for you guys?
Yeah, we've been fortunate enough to have some success with football. So we've kind of tried to push everything back. Felt like a lot of our duels when we would start, we'd be missing a lot of our guys that we needed in the lineup, or some of our upperclassmen. So we pushed some things back. We opened with Rockford Auburn on Friday. I think that was the 6th, and was happy with some of our guys that we had taking some extra time off with football kind of back and getting people to line up. And then a little bit frustrated with how the Riverdale thing went, but went and dueled Dakota, and I heard you guys talking about Hononegah, dueled Hononegah, and definitely got an eye opener there with how solid and a great program that they run. And so kind of split there, and Riverdale was maybe a blessing. Like I said, we were planning on taking 14 kids, and we went from 14 to 6, and then from 6 to 4. And you know how it goes. You get that 4:30 a.m. wake up call. We all get to the school, we're getting ready to get on the bus, and you get that email that the tournament's canceled, which was frustrating for the 4 kids that we were going to take, but maybe a blessing to get everybody healthy and just get out of the room. So it's been a good start, and we're young. The 26 kids we have, I think 18 of them are freshmen or sophomores. So,
oh wow,
there's a little bit of a, just trying to how do we run a room? What's the intensity look like? What's the drilling look like? And some of those younger kids trying to just teach them how to drill, but they've been very coachable, and they're looking forward to working hard. So I'm excited about it.
Great. Where's the next competition at?
So tomorrow we're going to go to Dupac and duel with Dupac and Marengo. And then we come back and get to go to Dixon on Thursday. And Dixon's always a solid solid club. But, Coach Hay does a great job there. And, Bagos had a great start to their season. Coach Flynn, I think he's got a pretty solid team that he hasn't had for a little bit of time, but he always does a good job. And then on Saturday, we'll go down to the Metamora tournament. So we kind of gear up here. I feel like kind of a lull. Some of our guys, we've only had one match or 3 or 4 matches, and just feel like we're trying to play catch up a little bit, or maybe this week will help kind of get us back into wrestling shape or where we need to be. So,
yeah. Dan, Marty, you got anything to ask? Okay.
You is Norris still helping out in the program?
Yeah. No, Coach Norris is helping out, and he's got his oldest son is a senior now. He's at 120 pounds.
Okay.
And his middle kiddo is Dalton. He's at 190. He's working on kind of making that cut down.
Wait, so Norris has a kid that's 190 pounds?
Yeah, a little bit opposite, right?
Whoa.
The older one's 120 and the middle one's 190. But both those kids work hard and do a great job. Like I said, Dalton's trying to make that cut down to 190.
Yeah.
And no, both doing a good job. Yeah, Coach Norris is great technician. And I would just say that very fortunate with how Mike Ellsbury runs the room. And between, Coach Norris, we got a couple other guys, Coach O'Horo, Coach Julian, Coach Stoddard. And, Mike's always a guy that will let you, play to your strong points. Hey, you're great at the wing series. Hey, go ahead, go show it. And so you always feel like we're all on the same page and communicating. And, that's been great working with him and learning from Coach Ellsbury about how you run a room, how you treat your assistants. And he's been awesome with that.
Yeah, I've always liked Mike. He's always that way. Hey, you got something you can show, because he's not like, hey, I know it all. Just move to the side. No, please show and help and make them better. Do you get a lot of the football players that come out for you then?
Yeah, a handful. We're trying to work on that. It's always interesting. We always have a couple guys who will join just because they know they're going to get better at football. I think you guys know, especially for our offensive linemen, so that 190 to that 285, hey, your balance, your footwork, your coordination, it's just going to make you a better athlete. And same thing with tackling, just getting in a good position. So we're working on that. Our numbers are going up. I'd love to have, about 10 more of those kids just to get them to compete. I think that's the great thing about wrestling. There's really no excuse when you get out there on the mat. It's all on you, which I think is great for kids these days, and had that responsibility. And, I think we all know that you can tell really quick, all right, are you working hard enough in the room, and is it showing out on the mat when we have to compete with somebody else? So.
And Chad, you are a football coach too, correct?
Yeah. So I coach offensive line and linebackers on the varsity team.
Got it. So what have you heard? Because I'm curious about this. What's the reservation for anybody who's in those areas, positions, not to come out for wrestling?
The biggest thing that, and I don't know, I didn't feel like it was this 10, 20 years ago, but we got a lot of kids who are really big into the baseball. I don't know if you guys have felt like that at Hononegah or Belvedere, but we've got kids playing summer ball all the time. They're leaving on like a Thursday night and not getting back till Saturday. And that's what we get a lot of these guys are going and getting baseball lessons. And I'm not trying to rag on baseball.
Yeah. I mean, whatever people are passionate about, I think they should do it. So
to me, I think we're small enough that, I mean, selfishly, I'd want you to wrestle and play football, but
I'm just getting more curious about it from a kid's perspective, of how to communicate to kids, because I don't think there's ever been a time, and there hasn't been a time in human history where wrestling has been talked about by so many professional football players and football coaches and college coaches, and it's in the zeitgeist of college football and professional football, to the point where it's like, now I'm confused why kids aren't even interested, or not necessarily just being like, well, yeah, I'm wrestling because, Coach Nick Saban said I should, or even on guys like Pat McAfee and the show, these people are talking about it in such a consistent way. I know sometimes as coaches, I think we expect a little too much out of football players when we go, oh, you got to become a wrestler, where it's like, well, you could just get 15 guys to come play, come wrestle. And, it'd be better for the room to have 15 extra, alpha males in there. So I was just curious I've not coached football. I'm not on a football. I just was curious what the reservation is still. So.
No, I would agree with you. Tyler Ellsbury, a great example, right? It's going to Iowa on a full ride, and they encourage him. We got the Iowa football coaches saying, "Hey, go wrestle your senior season." Mine is trying to make that cut down to 285. Go do it. Yeah. And I think about I don't know, I haven't talked to those guys down at Belleville Althoff Catholic, but the kid who took first at heavyweight last year, he's a big time football player going to Mizzou, and I'm assuming they're going to tell him the same thing as long as he can make it to 285. So he looked pretty big on that screen for the state finals, but
whole team did. Jeez Louise.
Yeah, they looked massive.
Yeah. Marty, you got anything?
No, but the one thing that the thing about wrestling is there's no publicity. There's you don't see it on TV unless you get your ESPN Plus, your Big Ten Plus. So the only way kids come out for youth sports is if a parent is interested in the sport, has wrestled before, whatever, or all of a sudden a kid comes home and says, "Hey, my buddy so-and-so wants to wrestle and I'm going to wrestle too." It's just it's a hard thing just to you don't see it on TV every weekend. You don't see it,
Well, kids don't watch TV, Marty.
What?
Kids don't watch TV anymore.
On their iPad, whatever.
How old are you, dude?
Yeah.
There's just no. It's not out there. It's not.
Well, no, I mean, again,
game,
out in the cloud, whatever it is. I don't know what it is, but it's just that you need the whole thing is it's a crapshoot because kids. The only reason kids come out for kids wrestling is because somebody else in the family has wrestled, or
their friends.
somebody, or they've had a youth coach in football to tell them, "Hey, you guys need to wrestle." You know, I mean, it's just how it is. Yeah. It's a tough thing. It's a tough sell, and it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So you got anything, Chad, to go off of that?
No, I just didn't. I also think that what wrestling was back in the early 2000s and what it is now, and I think if you come out late, let's say a freshman comes out that has never wrestled before but is doing it, there's a big gap to try to close when you have some of these kids who have been wrestling for 10 to 11 years already, right? If they're starting young, and there's a little bit of that intimidation factor, and I think that's the other thing. You just have to, hey, I'm doing this to get better. We talk about it with our kids. Listen, this is all practice until we get to the postseason. We want to continue to get better, and I think it's hard for some of those kids to have that mindset and say, hey, this is going to be hard work. I'm not going to show up and just win 30 matches and be a state qualifier. We kind of talked about that today. We go through our goals, and just because you write some goals down on a piece of paper, it doesn't mean it's going to happen. You got to put the work in, and it's gonna take quite a bit. So, I think there's several things that go into that. But
I think kids nowadays like that instant gratification. They like right away.
Old man on a rocking chair.
What's that?
Yeah, I'm calling you an old man. I think Chad was actually right. I think the hard part is that's what I said. I think as coaches, sometimes you expect too much out of some of these kids. I just how many guys do you have in your practice room, Chad?
We got 26 kids in there.
26. So if you just had 20 kids in practice, that would change practice. That would change the intensity of practice. That would change the culture of practice. Who cares if those 20 kids ever compete? But I think a lot of people expect too much of the competition. It's like, it is crazy to think, to send a junior in high school who's never wrestled before to go to practice, and then it goes to a competition, he gets whooped in front of his mom, and he's like, what am I doing this for? I don't think that that's necessarily the goal. I just think we expect too much out of everybody. Like I said, my thought with football players is give them an alternate schedule. Let them lift weights 3 days a week and let them wrestle 3 days a week. I think that would be so good for wrestling, because maybe in the short term none of them wrestle, but in the long term maybe some do. But
you can't shorten a season. You can't do it. You can't show a priority to somebody. They got to all do the same thing.
Well,
They
Well,
do.
I agree to disagree because it is the reason why people aren't doing it because we're not trying to, again, those football players want to become football players. Let them become football players, but they could definitely. I mean, it's like expecting every football player to go the higher levels of football. It's like that doesn't happen either. So.
Well, if you actually look at a lot of high school kids who are football players, and they say, I'm going to be in the weight room, I'm going to work really hard. When you look at them, they're like 30 pounds heavy the wrong way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Instead of going into the wrestling room and then lifting after practice or lifting in the morning or whatever, and then hand fighting and just, everybody has an excuse.
Yeah.
I agree with what you said there. And my uncle is a coach down at Auburn, Illinois. He just pretty much said, listen, you take the key and you say the weight room's locked in the wintertime. Come to wrestling practice and we'll open it up after you get done with practice. You want to lift? I'll stay for a half hour and you can lift weights, but I don't think you're going to want to do that after you go through a wrestling practice.
Yeah.
Hey, your uncle's down at Auburn, you said?
Yes, Gary.
My buddy Matt Grimm's the head wrestler.
Yeah. Grimm's a great guy. We actually went down and did a camp with them this summer. They hosted us and we had a great time, and it was good to kind of get out of town, and our kids didn't have an excuse. Once they were with us, they were there. So we got to go to Shields, and it was a fun team bonding stuff, and did a lot of wrestling. So I think we're going to host them up here this summer. So we're looking forward to that. But it's been interesting with that. But no, I would agree with Dalton too. I think and Marty, kind of a double-edged sword here. I think you do adjust that. If you have a varsity kid who who's a freshman or lower level kid gets kind of waxed during the week and goes 0 for 4, you probably don't take him to the varsity tournament. You probably take him to the JV tournament to say, listen, let him get some success. Let him win a couple matches. And if he gets on the medal stand, great. And I think that's what you have to find, that balance with the kids to say, okay, we don't want to lose you. Wrestle your freshman year and then you're done, or wrestle freshman, sophomore, and then not go out your junior, senior year. So I think there is that fine balance, or how do you get those kids out? How do you keep them out and let them have success? But also kind of iron sharpens iron, make them a better wrestler and a better person by the time they're done with it.
Yeah. Well, so just before we let you go, maybe you could take it some time. I know you guys had a couple state qualifiers last year, and obviously a couple kids that were really close. Maybe go through the lineup and just talk about your guys and who, what you're excited for the season.
Yeah. Like I said, we're young. At 106, we got a freshman who's in there who had some success in middle school. 113, we got another freshman in there who really good little baseball, football athlete, and he's one that has done a nice job and come a long ways and is excited and motivated. At 120, we have Jackson Norris, who lost a tough match in the blood round to go last year at sectionals at our place. 126, we got a senior. I think we only have about 4 seniors out, so we're pretty thin on the upperclassmen. Our 126 pounder, he's looking forward to have a good season. And then Damian Palacios is our 126. And Hunter King at 132 for us has been working hard and put a lot of time in the off season. Came to camp with us and has continued to grow as a young wrestler. And then 138 is another freshman who had success at middle school and done well. 144, and I feel like I keep saying freshman, it is another freshman we have in the lineup. Young kid, wants to learn. Did well in some of our in our fresh soft tournament that we hosted. Battled, had some tough matches. It's always nice when you get. We had some 2A schools there, some bigger schools that helped kind of challenge us. And then 150, Kale Horo, he was in our lineup last year as a freshman. Is looking good. Went to camp with us as well. And then 157, Will Julian. Will was, I think, had the most wins on our team last year with 36 or 37. I know Jackson Norris had 36 wins, I think. And then Brody Stein, returning state qualifier, had a great sectional run there and battled. I think he ended up losing to first round to Blue, who went on to win it down there. He's been looking good. And then 175, Isaac Alvarez is a junior. And right now we have a freshman at 190 but I think Dalton Norris is going to try to certify at 90 and be there. And then a senior, Jarrett Ross, has really came on, has been working hard, doing well. And I have high hopes for him, and he's got high hopes for himself and expectations with his goals, to try to get to that next level. And then our heavyweight 285 is Jared Claunch, who was returning state qualifier last year. Finished with 29 wins. He had some other things going on that lost him some matches, but yeah, I'm excited and young. I think probably tomorrow will be the first time, we kind of have everybody healthy and back. We'll be missing a couple kids, whether it's sickness or injury. But finally happy to try to put 14 kids on the mat. It's been a long time since I feel like our program's been able to do that. So I'm excited for these kids and excited for the challenges. And, I think that you got to be proud to be a Northern Illinois wrestling coach or involved in this, because I feel like this is some of the toughest and the best wrestling in the state. And if you kind of make it out of this area, you're probably going to have a lot of success. And so I'm excited to see everybody else's team. Like I said, we definitely had that eye opener against Hononegah, and know that there's still a lot more work to do, and ready to work hard and get after it, and looking forward to a good season.
Yeah, I was just going through a little bit of the sectional brackets, and there's a few that are really tough. Like there's a couple good kids that are not going to get down to the state tournament. So that sectional, that Oregon this year, is going to be a fun one. And good luck the rest of the season. Maybe we can see you again after a couple events, and you can jump back on and tell us how they went. Marty, Dan, you got anything for Coach Wilmarth?
Good luck the rest of the year.
Yeah. Great to meet you.
Yeah, you guys too, and thanks for having me on here. And it's been a pleasure. It's been fun sitting here talking wrestling and hanging out with you guys. So thank you very much, and I look forward to being back on here.
Yep.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Yep.
All right, guys, we made it. I survived. I didn't have to dip out early, and
I had to get the kid dinner, so
yeah, it's all right.
Sorry.
I forgive you. Guys, I think that'll do it. I don't think we're gonna get Messink. I think he he did not make it.
Text me when you find out when the semis are, would you, Dalton?
Yeah, hopefully sometime this week I'll get a whole packet, and I'll email you guys the packet that I get.
You gonna post that on the site too then, so people can go to the site
schedule? Yeah, probably. I definitely email you guys, so you'll get it. If I make any type of graphic or something, I'll put it up. But I think they'll post that as well. So we'll get organized for this weekend. I won't be there on Sunday until the finals, most likely, but
I won't be there, only for the semis.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the best part of wrestling.
Yeah. Well, there's some finals matches that are going to be pretty good too.
Yeah.
So anything else, guys? I'll let you go so I can try to recover.
Yeah, you should need to relax, Dalton.
I know.
You drink some liquids. Yeah.
Replenish.
All right, guys.
All right.
Yeah.